Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new Elder Scrolls Online guide video with me, Sherman. Today guys, we're going to be talking about what you can do with your character and how you progress your character into being able to do that. See, a lot of people in this game assume that when you make a character, your character is limited to the options of one thing. And it is, because when you first start your character is limited to what you have available. That means you use what you can until you get to a certain area of the game before you start building your character into what you really want them to be. Because the leveling process of this game is to give you the time to test your character and see if it's a kind of class or whatever you like to play. And that's what it's really about, is finding the right play style that you like. See, a lot of people don't understand what play style means. Play style is just a preferred preference. Like, my preferred playstyle with a character might be two-handed. It might be dual-wield. It might be sword and shield. That might be my preferred tools to use for that character. Or it might be destruction staff. And it might be resto staff. That's how you progress your character. Between the levels of 1 and 50, your character is limited to what they can do, based on the game's design and the tools you have available to your character. Now, as you keep continuing to play the game, you find sky shards. These allow you to get skill points. You complete quests. They give you more skill points. You do a lot of different things to progress your character's development. See, when you make a character, your character isn't just a tank. Your character's not just a healer. Your character's not just a damage dealer. Your character can be whatever you want it to be. But in order to play all three roles, you got to invest the time. Otherwise, you're going to limit your options to tank and damage dealer, or healer, damage dealer, tank. It really depends on what you're willing to put in to do with your character. Because that's what a role-playing game is all about. It's about developing the kind of character you want to play. And the best example I can give you is this. Remember Gandalf when he was standing on the bridge with the Balrog across from him, and he tells the rest of his group to fly, you fools, in Lord of the Rings? What he does there is he's like, you shall not pass, with his staff. He's threatening that enemy. That means he's grabbing its attention to keep its attention on him so his allies can get away. Because he chose to tank that guy. And not only did he fight him, he killed him in that fight. As they fell, they were fighting. He was sword fighting them and using magic and stuff, all the way down into the depths below Moria. And Gandalf came back as the White Wizard after that, and he had forgotten a little bit about who he was, and it was just basically because of his transition to that thing, because of his reincarnation into the White Wizard. His old self, like even before the time of that, he was a very old, wise man. He was thousands of years old, because he had been around since the beginning, since the elves first came to Middle-earth. And so did Sauron, Radagast the Red, or Radagast the Brown, was it? Radagast the Red, Radagast the Man? I don't remember. I don't remember all the names, to be honest. You know, I've got a million stories in my head from different things. I don't remember everything. I actually still have to research stuff. But that's the point, is that he decided that he was going to put himself before his friends and make that sacrifice to tank the Balrog himself, because he knew that they didn't have the power to face that enemy by themselves. Even as a group, they wouldn't be able to face him. That he was the only one strong enough to face the Balrog. And it was a choice he made. And he knew that he was probably going to die. But you know what? He took that chance. And that's what ESO can allow you to do, is do the same thing. See, this character right here is a build that I've been working on, a character build that I've been working on in the background. And a lot of people don't realize, when I release a build and I show you a tank, what I show you is the ability to play that character as a tank. That character doesn't just tank for me. That character plays a lot of content for me. because I make them to play a lot of content. And that's where a lot of people misunderstand ESO's design. See, because we're all taught through MMOs that certain roles are restricted to certain play styles. Like when you play a tank in World of Warcraft, you're restricted to that play style. That's what your character is. Because you chose the class that is a tank. You chose to be a Death Knight. You're choosing to be a tank and a warrior. Those are your options. You know, like you get the tank option and you get 2 other options. When you play a warrior, you get a tank option and 2 other options. The other 2 options are damage dealer options. ESO is no different. Because when you're not tanking, what are you supposed to do? Stand around and do nothing? Or try and go do a quest that's going to take you 3 times as long to do because you restricted yourself to being just a tank. See, and it's not a bad thing that you're restricted. It's part of the game. Part of the game is overcoming the adversity of your character and making your character work for you instead of against you. Because that's how role-playing games are designed, is to make your character do what you want it to do. Because you're the one who makes the decisions on how it works. And this game is no different than Dungeons and Dragons. A lot of people try to say it is, but it isn't. It uses the same exact formula in a different format. People will say, well, you don't have AC. Yes, you do. You have armor. The only thing is that in this, because it's an action MMO, what they did was they did away with turn-based combat, so AC it has no use. Instead, you have no turn-based combat, you have action combat that overlays it. So they have to use something in return. So they use resistances to help you mitigate damage. It helps you block a certain percentage of the damage that you take. And that's why you have heavy armor, is it helps you survive better. It doesn't make you a tank, it makes you greater in surviving. You ever wonder why Gimli wore heavy armor? Because he knew it would help him survive. You know why Legolas wore medium armor? And he wore elven armor, actually. But a lot of people don't realize that it was actually magical armor that he wore. Do you know why? Because he was more effective with that for the way he was, for his type of training. And that's what this game allows you to do. It allows you to pick an armor type. And you can train and master that playability of that armor type. Just like with weapons, you can train to be more masterful with them the more you use them. Because you play a character. And this is, like I said, this is called a character build. This is like, have you ever seen like something that you wanted to classify something as? Like, how do you classify King Arthur? Was he a knight? Was he a paladin? Was he this? Was he that? And actually, King Arthur was a knight. We all know that. And that was his classification. He was a king. He was a knighted king. And he was that way for a reason. Because he was trained to be a knight. And he became king when he drew Excalibur. That's the myth. But that's my point. Like, he chose that path for himself. He chose that path to become a knight. And then when he drew Excalibur, he didn't realize that it made him a king. So, until he did it. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do in this game. And I'm going to show you something with this character build, and so you guys can see. Right now, I have this character set up for stamina DPS. Now, you guys are going, okay, that's cool, but what are you going to do with it? I'm going to make it Magicka DPS, healer, tank, and all those things. Because I built the character to do that. Now, I am limited to my power, yes. But all I have to do is change some stuff around to do that. See, right now I have two-handed and sword and shield. That doesn't mean I'm a tank. I set this character to be a damage dealer, and those are the tools I chose to use. If I wanted to, I could even use a bow instead of a sword and shield. I could use two-handed and bow if I wanted to. But it's my choice, because it's my character. See, and there's a lot of things a lot of people don't understand about role-playing games. There's a lot of tools you unlock, skills and stuff, that you might think are useless to you, but somebody else, they might be more useful in certain situations. And that's how this game is designed to work. for you to unlock abilities that you can use when you need them. Just like when you want to play a role. If you want to play a healer, you got to be able to do that. And it's not hard. Now, imagine I go to a shrine that allows me to respec my attributes. Okay? That means I can put my attributes wherever I want in this character. Now, it doesn't look like I have a lot of stats, right? And you're right, I don't. I'm going to buy a few of these things just so I can show you what I mean. Alright. So, this is going to allow me to reset my attribute points. Watch my 31k stamina there. Just disappeared. My health and my magicka didn't. Because that's where my health values are set at, even with food. That's where they're baseline. Now, if I wanted to be a magicka DPS, I could go into my attributes here, and I can just do this. Now you're going to see I go to 30k. And then all I have to do is go to guilds, Mage's Guild, grab Inner Light, and I can put it on both bars. And then all I have to do is change my tools out for my character. And I can go with an Inferno Staff, and we'll go with a Lightning Staff. Now I can go in here and I can set any skills that I have available on my bar. Now I know what a lot of you guys are saying, but your crit is super low. Yeah, because see, in a role-playing game, no matter what you do with your character, you cannot make your character be able to do everything perfect. You're limited to the tools by design. See, you guys are probably sitting here going, I wonder what he is using, though. The sets I'm using is Thorvikin, Hunting's Rage, and Rattle Cage. So, the reason I chose these sets is because it fits the idea of this character build for me. You don't have to use these same sets. I'm just showing you how you can combine them and utilize the tools available to make your character into what you want. So if I want to be a magicka damage dealer, I can go to Destruction Staves. I can say, well, I want this ability. I want this one. We'll go ahead and do this. And I'll go ahead and put elements on the back bar. I'm going to grab some class abilities. I'm going to grab my Mystic Siphon. I'm going to grab my Skeletal Archer. And if you notice, my Skeletal Archer is stamina, right? That's what it is. But here's the thing a lot of people don't realize. Even if you equip a staff, right, you still gain equal weapon damage for that ability. You just can't use the weapon itself for weapon damage, because it doesn't apply to that. Stabs apply to spell damage, but physical damage abilities are based off of weapon damage. So I can still use this. It's just not going to be as effective. And then I can grab my Skeletal Bones here. We're going to put that on the back bar. And then on the front bar, we're going to continue off with a heal, just so we have something to keep us alive. Now I can go play this character as a magicka damage dealer. And I can do this with any character I want in the game. It doesn't matter, because that's how ESO is designed. When people say, oh, you're making a hybrid, no, I'm not making a hybrid. I'm making a character that can be what I want it to be when I need it. And I can even use Dawnbreaker. Now I will admit I only did 12k DPS, and a lot of people are going to be like, that sucks. Okay, then what would my character be best at? A tank? Well, we can always find out. But it's not about the damage that your character can do, because your character is only going to be limited to the abilities you have, or the tools you have access to. I want to be a tank, I can do this. And now I'm a tank. All I have to do is change my tools around. I can take all these off, and I can use a mix of abilities from different things because the game allows me to. See, I can grab my Bone Tyrant, which I think is the Ravenous one. I'll put it on the back bar. On the front bar, I'm just going to leave Dawnbreaker because I like using it. I'm going to put this here. I'm actually going to grab the Mage's Guild, and I'm going to grab Entropy so I can boost my max health by 8%. And then on the front bar here, I'm going to grab some Sword and Shield abilities. And then on the back bar, Destruction Staff, I'm going to grab Wall of Elements. I'm going to go back to my class and Gravelord. I'm going to grab this again. Or not that one, sorry. Get off there. I'm going to grab this ability. And I'm going to grab this ability. Even though this does minor maim, or does the minor maim, I'm not using it for that. I'm doing it to empower my allies to boost their damage, because that's what it does. And now I'm a tank. And my resources are limited for a reason. See, when you choose to be a role, you change the way your resources work. You change the way your character works for a reason. So you can take on the ability to play that role. And in some cases, you don't even need to change your attributes, because if you're a skilled enough player, you can still play with your attributes where they are, and you can put them even into different pools to make your character more effective with those stats. Like this. I could do this if I wanted to. Now, like I said, in order to have a character like this, you better be willing to invest some time in your character to unlock all these abilities. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to put 30 into each, and I'm going to put 2 and 2. There we go. Now look at what my character stats are. Now, you guys are going to say, well, that's really low. But you know what? It's not that low. Not as low as you think it is. Because my character is still capable of tanking, doing damage, and healing if I need to. Because I built them to be that way. I could even just make them a tank magic damage dealer. Because I can choose to use the weapons I want. I can choose the tools I want. Because I made my character able to do that. And I just went from tank to damage dealer to damage dealer. And I haven't even done healer yet. But I can promise you I can be one. And the reason I chose the sets I did is so that way my character's versatile. They can play any role. Whether it be a stamina damage dealer, a magicka damage dealer, and if I want them to focus in one area, I can. I can make them purely built into stamina. And then when I'm playing outside of my normal, I can switch between the things that are necessary. Tank, healer, and damage dealer. Because see, the game gives you all the tools you need to do this. You just need to figure out how to put it together. Because it's your character, you need to design them. That means you got to choose your sets. You got to choose the tools you want to use. You have to choose the things you like. Because that's how a character works in ESO. When you start out in ESO, your character is limited by the choice of the developers. They limit you to nothing. You have to train yourself to become better. And not only are you training to be better with your character, mentally, you are also doing the same. Because you're going to know how that character works with every tool you use. And even if you want to focus on a purely magicka character, I can still be a tank with a purely magicka character. Because all I have to do is this. And I can do this even in light armor. Because I know what the limits are. And I can even make my character even more of a tank by grabbing the Lady Mundus Stone. See, Mundus Stones are there to help you. That's it. Everything in the game is there to help you. It's a tool. That's why they make you go out in the world and play. Is so that way you earn access to all these different tools. Because in order to have this set up in your house, you better be willing to spend some money on the game. But if you don't want to spend the money, you don't have to. Just go out in the world and get the things you need. And now I'm a tank. In light armor. Or in heavy armor. And I'm as good of a tank as I can be based on my design because of the tools I chose to use. And see, my resistances are really low. 25k. But I can promise you, I can tank content. Do you want to know how I know? Because people have been doing this for ages in this game. Because your armor class only, or your armor rating only represents your resistances. Your resistances only reflect how much damage you can mitigate. Just as I am right now, I can mitigate about 40% of the incoming damage. Can your damage dealer or your stamina DPS do that? Or your stamina damage dealer do that? No. But I can make a stamina damage dealer who can do that. Because I can alter my character whenever I want. Because see, not only have I done this, I haven't even touched my CP. And if I wanted to, I could go into my CP and I could adjust the values of my character to fit my needs. Because that's what it's there for. Just like my character and what I did just now was there to adjust the needs of my character for what I want to play. And I can even run around this character with the character the way they are and just changing the skills up. There we go. Now I can go over here and I can fight this guy as a tank slash DPS. Because that's what I'm choosing to do. I'm choosing to sacrifice my abilities to do different things. Now, I'm not that powerful. You're right. But you know what? If I wanted to be more powerful than this, I could be. Because all I have to do is adjust my stat values. I need to be more powerful, I can just adjust it. I can go up here, I can go, okay, I need to reset my attributes again. And no, my character isn't going to be a super powerful god. Do you know why? Because he's limited to the power of design. The game only lets me be so powerful. And right now I only have a 28 or 19% crit. I'm not using the Thief Mundus Stone and I'm not using that stuff. But I can still tank like this. And I can be an effective tank because, see, I know the tools of the game. I know what they're designed to do. I know how you can make things work. Because I know how it works. And people ask all the time, Sherman, how can I make my character more effective? Play the game. Become experienced. Become knowledgeable. Learn how to use all the skills and tools available. And you can make a character like this. Because that's what this game is about, is playing a character and having fun. Because if you restrict your ability to play how you want to a specific, you give up the ability to play your character in a lot of different ways. And not everyone's going to do what I did here. Some people might go for full-on magicka builds. Some people might go for full-on stamina builds. That's up to them. I'm not going to stop them. I'm just showing you how to play the game. I'm not going to tell you how you have to play your character. You want advice on how to play him, you can ask, and I'll help if I can. But that's pretty much it. So, hope you guys like the idea. And I will be showing you guys this broken down as a tank, a healer, and damage dealer in role videos, so you guys can see how this class can work. And if you want to play it this way, you can build it this way. Or you can build it any way you want, utilizing the tools you want. I'm not going to stop you. But that's pretty much it for the video, guys. I hope this video helps. If it does, you know what's coming next. You can hit the like button if you want to. Other than that, if you want to subscribe, you can do that. And I want to thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful day. And this guy might see you again. See you in game. Bye.